Record.
All right, fantastic. All right, any other questions for me before I bring up the students?
Okay, I will have a link then, and okay, and you will, oh, fine, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, great. So you can go ahead and get your screen share up and running. And then when you're ready to begin, you can say start simulation and begin your lesson.
Begin simulation. Hello, students. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you, Ms. Johnson?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to see all of you. And I'm going to try to make you bigger. And why don't you go and introduce yourself? I'm going to tell you one thing before you do introduce yourself. You see that I'm Mrs. Johnson, but I am a reading teacher, and I teach in every classroom, and I go and I teach reading. So is it Nina? Would you please start and say your name? And one thing I want you to tell me is, what do you like to read? So go ahead, Nina.
It's Nina.
Nina, there you go.
Yes, Nina. And I like to read, I like to read books about theater.
Great. Okay. Will, can you go next?
Well, I'm Will. And I guess I like Percy Jackson.
Beg your pardon?
I like Percy Jackson.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Jayla?
I really like graphic novels. Like, do you know the Babysitter's Club?
Yes, I do. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, Emily.
I really like a lot of books. I like series of unfortunate events, and I like the Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library series.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Did you know on Saturdays I read to the little kids at the library for story time?
That's fantastic. You keep up that good work. Carlos?
Well, my favorite book is A Wild Robot.
Say that again, one more time, slowly.
It's called The Wild Robot.
Wow, robots.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a robot, and the robot gets stranded on an island, and makes friends with all the animals.
Great. You know what? Yeah. Maybe at the end of the class, we can talk more about it and I can find out. I like all the different things you're reading. But today, we're going to really focus on nonfiction. And nonfiction is not like a story about with characters. It's about information. And I know that one of the things, because there is so much information, we try to look for patterns. And the pattern we're going to look at today is compare and contrast. Can you just raise your hand if you can see my screen? Emily, can you see my screen? Thanks. Okay, great. Yes. All right. Now, there's a lot of information, and I know that Mrs. Smith last week went over the pattern of problem and solution. But today's problem, or today's pattern, is compare and contrast. Anybody can raise their hand and tell me what they think compare and contrast means? Go for it. It's Nina, right? Nina.
Nina.
Nina, I got it.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you.
Compare, that makes more sense. That's when you have two things and you want to see if they're alike or not.
There you go. That is excellent. Now, when we're working with this pattern, it has real specific meanings. In this pattern, compare means looking at what is the same. At contrast means looking for the differences. And we're going to read some. Go ahead, Nina.
Should we take notes?
Not right now, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So let's look at the next screen. Our plan today is we're going to look at some nonfiction, but first we're going to look at some vocabulary in it. Then we're going to read the nonfiction text together. And you know what? I wanted to have a copy for each of you, but the Xerox machine is not working. So we'll just have to do the best we can, all right? And
That's okay. That's better for the environment.
yeah, it is good for the environment. You're right. And then we've saved a lot of trees here. We're going to organize the information. So I'm going to model this and I'm going to talk about my thinking, the way that I organize this, the first one. And then we're going to do one together. And then you're going to be able to do one of these compare and contrast by yourself. So let's get started. I need you to put up your hand like this. And I'm going to say a sentence. And if I need to see your hands, can I see your hands, please? There we go. All right. When I say a sentence, if you have ever seen one of these, or you have seen a picture of one of these, you put a finger down. So this is a practice right now. This is not the real thing. So if you,
I have a question.
sure.
The principal says we should put whole hands up and whole hands down. So can we, when you say a sentence, if we have seen one of those, can we put our whole hand down and then we'll put our hand back up?
Great idea. That's a great idea. Thank you. All right. If you've seen a dog, put your hand down. Okay. Put your hand back up. If you've seen a cat, put your hand down. Good. Put your hand back up. If you've seen a bird, put your hand down. Good.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah, you guys are really doing very well. Now, this is the real stuff. This was just a practice. So let's get to the real stuff. And have you ever seen a butterfly? Put your hand up. And if you've seen a butterfly, put it down. Good job. All right, put your hand back up. I got too many hands here. If you have ever seen a tiger, it doesn't have to be real. It could have been on TV. Okay, put your hand down. If you've ever seen a lion, put your hand down if you've seen a lion on TV, or maybe in the zoo, or maybe in the circus. I don't know. Hands up. A spider. You've seen a spider. I saw one in my bathtub. That was not a good
I
place
don't
for
like
him.
that one.
Say again.
I don't like that one.
Yeah. Okay, hands up. Everybody hands up. Good job. If you've ever seen a water strider. Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to read about some water striders and some spiders because they look sort of like the same. So let's look at this picture. The thing on the top here is a water strider. And you can see as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. But a spider, who can raise their hand and tell me how many legs does the spider have? Will, how many legs?
It's got 8.
8 legs, yeah. So this water strider has 6 legs, but this spider, and they look a little bit, they could be looking, they look sort of the same, but they're really not. So let's look at some vocabulary before we read, because this nonfiction text often has lots of words that are not easily, well, you may know them, but you may not. So here's some of the words that we're going to look at, and I'm just going to go through them because I'm thinking about what these words might mean with the water strider and the spider. So the first one is repel, and that means to, like if a drop of water falls on a Scotchgard couch, it doesn't go in, it just goes off. So buoyant, though, means like you can float. Buoyant means you can float. Are you guys taking notes? That's so great. That's wonderful. Okay, now this one you have to look at the picture though. Look up here at the picture. I am waiting to see your eyes. Excellent. This is a mosquito larva. And you might know larvas from other things that you've studied, because I know by 5th grade you've studied a lot. This is a mosquito larva. Can you see him floating on the water here?
Ew.
Yeah, ooh is right. But he's not flying around yet. But the next stage, when he turns into a mosquito, he starts flying. Yuck. Silk web. This is stuff that spiders use to make their big webs. So this is silky threads.
Oh, we knew that from Charlotte's Web.
That's right. Charlotte's Web, the spider did weave a web. All right, the last word is pesky. Now, raise your hand if you have a brother or sister. Raise your hand if you have a brother or sister. Jayla, do you have any brothers or sisters or cousins? Do you have a cousin or a brother or sister? Okay, let me see if maybe Carlos. Carlos, does your brother have a brother or sister?
I actually have both.
Okay, so are any of them pests and bother you? Can they be pesky?
Yeah, my brother Javier, he's in 2 grades younger than me, and when I walk home from school, he has to walk with me, and he asks a lot of questions.
Yeah,
Like so many questions.
Yeah, that's pretty pesky.
Yeah.
Well, these are some of the words that are going to be in our text, and we'll see how they fit in. So my next thing to do, remember I went through the vocabulary, so my next thing to do is to read the text. So if you will read with me, you don't have to read out loud. You just have to make sure you follow with me. So this is the water strider and spider text. Have you ever seen a water strider skating across the top of water in a pond or stream? What about a spider building a web? Yeah, water striders, also known as pond skaters, And spiders look very much alike, but they are different. I remember now looking at the picture and seeing how they were similar. The water strider is an insect that has 6 legs and 3 body parts. They also have thick pads of hair that repel. Remember, we use that word repel water. The water doesn't stick to them, and capture air. This makes the water strider buoyant. That means he's standing above the water and able to walk on top of the water. Spiders have 8 legs and are not insects. They also have 2 body parts. So, wait a minute, there's still a little bit more. Maybe. Water striders use their speed to race to catch insects on top of the water. They especially like the mosquito larvae, which is a good thing for getting rid of mosquitoes because they're eating the mosquito larvae. Yes.
Gross.
Well, it's good for us though, because then the mosquitoes aren't flying around and biting us. Spiders. Now we're going to talk about spiders for a few minutes. Spiders spin many different kinds of sticky silk webs to trap insects flying or crawling by. If an insect lands on the web shakes. So it's like an alarm system. Instantly, the spider pounces. That means he jumps on the insect and he wraps it in silk threads. And if he's hungry, it eats the insect right away. If he's not, it just saves it in the web. So the web is like his refrigerator. He just saves it there till when he gets hungry.
The insect was just going around doing stuff and the spider just ate them.
Yeah, it happens. The way it goes. But just think, those spiders are catching the flies that are flying around our food. They might be catching some mosquitoes if the mosquito is smart and, doesn't know not to land down there. So they are helpful. This last spider does not have a web, but he hides it's in the desert, so you don't have to worry about the wolf spider around here.
Oh,
But
cool.
he's under rocks and he runs out and he grabs an insect. Spiders also help get rid of pesky insects. So we saw the water striders are getting rid of pesky mosquitoes, and the spiders are getting rid of pesky insects. So what are they going to do with all this information? We need to organize it. Usually you use a Venn diagram, but I hate to tell you, the Venn is not working with Zoom. So we are going to use this. It's a table. And I'm going to think about things that I just read. So again, I'm showing you what I'm thinking. And then next time we are all going to work together. So, but you can help me because, we teachers always can use help from our students. So the first thing I remember is that, whoa, that's not the lion. The first thing I remember is to turn this off so I can write words in here. Can you see my water strider and the spider? Great.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff we can see. We can see what the next slide is. You can see the tiger and the lion. It's like a preview.
There you go. Just like a trailer on the TV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember now from the pictures that the water strider and the spider.
Miss Johnson?
Yes?
Did you see the new Spider-Man trailer?
No, not yet, but I'm going to look tonight because I know.
Okay.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. Doc Ock is back.
Okay.
What does that even mean, Carlos? You don't make sense.
Okay.
Well, you have to watch it to understand.
Well, Carlos, let's stick with our water strider and our spider, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Well, Who can remember how many legs the water strider had? Anybody? Go ahead, Jayla. What? How many?
6?
It did. It did. So I'm going to put a 6 right here. How many legs, somebody else, that did the spider have? Will?
8.
Yes, excellent. So I'm now, oh, this is got the wrong 6 there. You guys have to watch me now. You say, Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson. Remember, they both had body parts. Who can remember how many body parts the water strider had? Well, I'll give it to you. 3. And the spider, though.
Oh, I was wrong.
2. Yeah. Now, the spider, the water strider is an insect. And the reason he does is because he has his 6 legs and these 3 body parts. So the spider is not an insect because he doesn't have the same body parts. And the water strider speeds away to get prey or whatever he's eating, mostly those larvae, which are his favorite. But the spider, how does the spider catch insects? Let me see. Nina, you remember how the spider catches insects?
Yeah, it's kind of mean because it makes its little web, and then when the insect lands on the web and it's like minding its own business, then the spider just eats them.
Yeah, he's waiting, but as soon as he gets there, he wraps them up, remember, in case he's not hungry. And we know that the sometimes they don't say it directly, but we know that the water strider lives on the water. So if the water strider lives on the water, where does the spider live? Emily, I haven't talked to you yet. Can you tell me where you think that? Where does the spider live, since you know about Charlotte's Web?
Well, the spider lives on the web, but it has to connect to something.
Okay, so is it on the water or the land? Which one?
Oh, the land.
There you go. You got it. So I have all this information now, and I've taken that, and the best thing to do is sometimes is to go back and reread it. But we're getting sort of short of time. So I want to move on to the tiger and the lion, because you're going to really help me get the tiger and the lion. So
That's probably the fun one. Tigers and lions are fun.
there you go. I think so
Yeah.
too. You know why I like the water striders and the spiders though, because they can be in your own backyard or in a pond. So
What?
yeah, I've seen them. All right, let's go back to our slideshow, and we're going to here, and there we go. And Carlos, which one is the tiger and which one is the lion?
Oh, that's easy. The tiger is the striped one on top, and the lion is the one with the big mane on the bottom.
You got it. You are so right. And again, some people live in different countries and they have never seen this. So I'm glad that you were able to explain that and why, because we're going to look at some information. Now, there's sometimes I'm going to show you something in nonfiction text, because sometimes you don't have to preview the vocabulary. It actually tells you in the text what the word means. So let's look for that. Maybe. Here we go.
I like that when they do the work for us.
That's nice. Good thinking. Tiger and lion text. So this tigers and lions belong to the big cat family of animals. Can you think of any other big cat? Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, my uncle, he has a cat named Jason, and his cat's really fat, so he's a big cat.
Okay, well, mostly I have a big cat too, and usually she's right behind us, but thank goodness she's sleeping. But usually they're talking, big cats are like jaguars and leopards. So we're just talking about tigers and lions right now. Tigers are usually found in tall grasses and jungles in Asia, while lions live mostly in the grassy plains. Plains are the flat country of Africa. So we've got a difference here. Remember, we're looking for differences and things that are the same. We're comparing and contrasting. Both the tiger stripes, and you brought that out, Carlos, and the lion's yellow-brown color help them be camouflaged or hide. So here's one of those words. Camouflage is actually hiding them. So it's telling you what the word means.
Oh.
When they hunt. So they camouflage themselves because they blend in. Tigers like to swim, but most lions like to move slowly. However, both of them can run very fast. Not as fast as a jaguar, but pretty fast. I want to show you something. Let's see if I can do this. Can you see the tigers swimming now?
Are they swimming? They don't look happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're playing. They are holding on to a log and they're swimming. So it's something that they enjoy. Probably good on a hot day, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at the next part. Tigers and lions are both carnivores. And here's another word that is telling you what it means, which means they hunt and eat many animals. So they're meat eaters. Are you guys meat eaters?
Well, I like other things too.
Well,
Yeah.
you would get sick if you only ate meat, Carlos.
Well, I know
No.
what she asked if we were meat eaters, and I just
Yeah.
want to make sure she knows that I like my vegetables.
There you go. So we're not what we call omnivores. We eat meat and plants. Tigers do not hunt in groups. They spend most of their time alone. Lions live together in groups called prides, and they hunt together. So the tigers are more loners, and these guys, the lions are the like to get together in their prides, and they move and hunt together. Both in Asia and Africa, the territory of tigers and lions has become smaller as people build cities and farms on the plains and jungles. So they're losing their habitat where they live and where they hunt because people are building their farms and building cities. So
That's so sad.
that is sad. Now, let's look at how we're going to put our information here. So, first of all, who remembers where tigers, what part of the world that tigers usually live in? Will, can you tell me?
Tigers live in like prairies.
Not usually, but they usually live in grasses and jungles. So where do you think the lions live, Will? You were right first
Prairies.
There you go. Yeah. And we call them plains. It's the same thing. Prairies, plains, it's the same thing. So they have different places that they live. All right, I'm going to ask Nina, can you tell me what does the tiger have? What does he look like outside? What does he have on him?
Oh, the tiger has stripes.
There you go. And Jayla, can you tell me what color is the lion?
Well, it's kind of like brownish, yellowish,
That's
almost a
right.
little orange.
I'm not sure about the orange, but I guess it depends upon what he's sitting next to. It might reflect off of him. What do they use these colors and these stripes? What does it help him do, or them, the tiger or the lion do when he's hunting? Emily.
It helps them camouflage, which means hide.
Yes, it does. And now Mrs. Johnson has to spell it right. I did. Hooray. Yay.
Well, the spelling corrector will tell you if you spell it wrong, and then it'll fix it for you.
Well, sometimes when you don't know what is fixed, how to fix it, you have to look it up again. All right. What did I show you that the tiger likes to do? He likes to do something. I showed you a picture of it. It has to do with water. Go for it, Carlos.
The tigers like to swim in the water and play with each other.
There you go. And the lions, now you might have seen this, if you saw the movie Lion King or something, they like to do something in the sun. Okay, Jayla.
Yes. Well, when the Lion King, when the show was touring for my birthday, my family took me to see it, and so I got to see the show on Broadway. When they came to our town, and there was like big puppets and stuff, and the Pride Rock, it like came out of the ground. It like come out of the ground on the stage.
So what did he do on top of the Pride Rock? What did he do?
Rafiki like held Simba up.
Yeah.
On Pride Rock.
What did they do? What would they do before he was holding up Simba?
Rafiki?
Well, didn't they just sit there and look out?
Oh yeah, they did that. They did that later in the show.
Okay.
When Simba was with Timon and Pumbaa, they would just sit.
Okay.
They had no worries.
Yeah, they sit and they move slowly. But remember,
and they have no worries.
That's right, no worries. But they also can both do, when they're hunting, what can they do really, really fast? Raise your hand if you know what they can do. Nina.
They can all run really fast.
Yes, they can. That's how they catch their lunch, breakfast, and dinner. But the tiger, he likes to do something alone. What does he like to do alone? Something he likes to do alone. Now this is, if that Xerox machine was working, you would have the paper in front of you and you could look at it. Let's look back at our text for a minute and see if we can see. Tigers do not hunt in groups. They spend most of their time alone. So when he's there, he's hunting alone. Yes? Okay. And that's what you have to do sometimes when you're not sure. But what do the lions do? What do the lions do? Do they want to be alone or do they want to be somewhere else? Emily.
Well, they like to be together.
Yes, they do. Do you remember
Yeah.
what the group is called?
Pride.
There you go. And they like to stay in groups called prides. And but remember,
All right, Mary Beth, hi. You know what? I'm tracking time and I know the kids are enjoying this lesson so much, but I did promise you that I would only keep you for a half an hour in this lesson. So thank you so much. While I have you, is there any questions you have or anything that jumped out in your experience with the simulation?
it's much more interactive than I ever thought it could be. And I think it's going to be a real, I think I can go back and now tell my 20-some students that this is this simulation is really worth doing because the interaction with the students, it really does help you know, when they're going off on a tangent or, you know, you need to refocus, it gives you practice doing that. And I was glad that there was no, the things that they were doing was normal, you know, and it wasn't, I was afraid that after watching whatever the preview that we saw the other day, that there would be behavior issues. And usually in small groups, you don't have behavior issues. And that's why as instructors, and as mentor teachers, we give our students small groups because it's pretty, you know, as the kids, you know, they talk about things, but you know, you can refocus them pretty easily, and that's good. So.
Yeah, you're actually describing the difference between our two intensity levels. So in a low intensity, which is what you experienced today, they're still kids. They're going to behave like kids, but as the teacher, as the learner, if you redirect that behavior, you're going to see an immediate response from the kids. Whereas in a medium, you'll see more of you know, the kids might not redirect on the first try, or they might go back to it, and that really depends on the skills that you as the instructor wants those learners to practice. So that's great. Thank you so much for that observation. So in terms of next steps, when I end this call, what will happen is the recording will automatically process on your computer. And I'm going to send you an email with an updated version of that learner guide that I shared as a draft, because it actually has instructions about accessing that video so that you can share it with us, because it's going to save on your device. So you'll be able to share that directly with us. So any other questions for me?
Yeah, do I have to, I know I'm going to stop sharing. Is there anything else I have to do? I'm not sure how to retrieve it, is what I'm saying. I'm going to stop sharing.
That'll be in the email. So just to give you sort of an insight, what'll happen is Zoom will automatically save it. They'll create within your documents, they'll create a Zoom folder. And within that, the video will save there. And so then you'll be able to access it from there. And the updated learner facing guide that I'll share with you, it'll actually have pictures of what that will look like on your computer when you're going to access it.
Oh, good. Perfect. Well, thank you. I was extremely nervous about this.
Oh, well, you were such a delight. I know the kids enjoyed themselves very much. And, that's part of why we have Mursion. This is a great opportunity for someone to practice this in an environment where, they can be nervous. This is a safe space to be nervous and maybe try new things, even if they're feeling confident.
Yeah. And, again, I was happy to see that I could slide them over so I could show them a picture that I wanted them to see of the tiger swimming, but, I made sure that I put most of my documentation on the side that, so I didn't have to slide. The only thing
and I noticed that. I appreciated that.
Yeah, I wanted to enlarge them, and I should have asked you beforehand, but I didn't know how to do that. I wanted, it was more difficult to see them, but we did it fine. Yeah.
Great. And actually I'll direct your attention to that when I reshare that draft. And you can tell me if that sort of instructions made sense to you reading them.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. Be on the lookout for a follow-up email from me.
One more question.
One question? Yeah, absolutely.
I want to, I have to do an orientation for my students, and I want to use part of this to show them. And do I have permission to do that?
You know what? It is your video. You absolutely, you control that permission. The only reason I'm asking you to share it is because we want to make sure that the materials we've provided to you to help you frame that is correct, since for your students, these videos will be reviewed and they'll be scored. So we want to make sure that that's framed for the scorers. That's all we're looking for there. Okay.
Okay, got it. Yay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and be on the lookout for an email from me. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Julie.
Bye.
Bye.